Hey guys, this is Ollie, aka Soul Warrior, and it's time for another character spotlight. Last time we took a close look at Queen Akeshru, a unit that is somewhat hard to get, or was somewhat hard to get in the festival, at least at a higher rarity. Today we're looking at a unit that everybody can get their hands on relatively easily, and the unit I'm talking about is of course Zefa.
Zefa? What the f***, bro? I thought you were showing us good units. Jesus. Gonna go back to working out then. Zefa. Zefa.
Sorry for that, that was my casual player impression. Alright, let's not waste any time. Let's look at Zefa. I think that it looks very similar for many of you. You have your hero overview and then right in the middle, more often than not, there's Zefa. He's not among your top units, he's also not among the bottom units. In my case, I've put some work into him. He's level 14 at the moment, but he's not exactly a force to be reckoned with by any stretch of the imagination. There's a couple of things that we need to talk about. We're gonna do so after I played some movie magic. The only thing that I want you guys to pay very close attention already to is the health stat. He's got 230 life for a level 14 unit that is only on Iron rank 1. That is a lot. In case you didn't know, that is a lot. If we're going to the unit next to him, Ardasi, who's level 15, he's at 130. And if you're going in the other direction, Pelator, he's also a bit above him with level 18. He's also got less health. Now, even if you're looking a bit further up the list of heroes that I got, we got guys like Sunshine, for example, who has only 220, and we got Tawarinchi, who's only got 194. I know what some of you are saying right now. You're sitting at home screaming at your screen and you're like, wait a second, you cannot compare a warrior to a rogue and a priest / mage, and I agree, that is true. But it cannot be denied that even on first sight, Zefa has a very impressive health stat. That is only gonna get more extreme after we play some movie magic. Now here we've got a Zefa that a lot of work has gone into. You can see he is an epic unit. And these stats are super impressive. Look at that health total. We're looking at 1,473 health. That is quite something. That is more than like any other unit in the game can have when it's like an apples to apples comparison and they are roughly on the same level. It's also because it is an epic unit, there's something else that is present here, which I didn't even know before I looked a little bit deeper into Zefa. The fact that he can wear both an armor, which helps him reach that ridiculous health stat on the one hand, as well as a shield. There are units that have high health that don't tend to have a shield, which allows them to block. And there are units that can block that don't tend to have a high health. We just looked at Sunshine. Sunshine doesn't have that much health because he can block like a machine. Well, he is a machine, okay, whatever. But here we can see that Zefa can block 190 damage with a 20% percentage with this particular shield, and it's not even like leveled to the extremes. And on top of that, he has 1,470 health. That is absolutely huge. So for comparison's sake, let's look at another unit that is like on a somewhat similar level and that also happens to be a warrior. We do have such a unit in Sir Mattois here. Sir Matt, in short. He has 949 health. He can also block with a higher percentage. He can block like a lot. Let's give him that. But there is a difference, even with the block damage, between 940 health and 1400 health. That is a big difference. It's like 50% more for Zefa. So in terms of health, Zefa is the absolute king of the ring in Rivengard. That makes him an absolute monster in game modes that require a lot of endurance, most notably Onslaught, and he's also really useful in campaign. Also due to a second trait of his, and that is the fact that he's a hulking unit. That is very important. Hulking is one of the, I would say, most misunderstood abilities or qualities of a unit, because it is a double-edged sword. It is a double-edged sword. Now, if you've ever played Guild Raid and you moved your unit into a dragon's nest and then the dragon landed on your unit, you will think that hulking is very bad. But if you've gone up against some units in the desert, for example, where you get thrown around left and right by these warriors, hulking suddenly becomes your best friend. To illustrate that point a little bit further, let's look at a little clip here. So this is one of the desert levels that I basically have flashbacks when I think about it. Because the first time I went up here, I was like, this is so unfair. There's no way to move forward here. There's only this one little gap, and obviously that was the level designer's dream come true, where they were like, yeah, let's give you guys a hard time. And this is one of the levels where I felt like we can really illustrate how good Zefa really is. Because the first time you went into this level, chances are you moved forward with your unit, this warrior then smacked the unit backwards into the thorns, everybody had a really good time hitting your unit and killing it outright. This is not the case when you're playing a hulking unit like Zefa. There is no throwing around with them. There's also no movement with active abilities like the one of Gibbo and Gobbo. They cannot drag you into a position that is less advantageous for you. The downside is you cannot climb stairs very fast, like a grandma basically. No offense, Granny, that wasn't meant at you. But generally speaking, hulking can be an advantage, and we can see that here. So Zefa is now in the middle and he's basically going one-on-one, and I asked Thunder to play like a little bit slow and not really go for it with his other units that are pretty strong. This is his B team, by the way, which is ridiculous. And I really wanted to show you guys how much damage Zefa can tank. I mean, we kinda knew that because of the festival guide. You guys have seen you can go one-on-one with Zefa and do all the healing quests because he holds, like, he stands that strong and he holds out for that long. So the fight is always taking forever and you can heal a lot of points, which is good in festivals. But here you can really see there is like very little that these units can do if they are attacking Zefa. He is not very easy to kill. He's the most durable unit in the game even. I think that's fair to say at this point. Yeah, he's got a lot of health, okay, but what else is there? Except for the fact that he can basically be the cornerstone of your defense in Arena and every other game mode with his hulking trait on top of a lot of health. Well, there is a bit more, and I'm glad you asked, and that is the fact that he's got an active and a passive ability. We already talked about the fact that he can wear a shield and an armor. So the active is the ice assembly. This is an effect that almost everyone is very familiar with, because I guarantee you the first time you went into the ice level going up against Zefa, you were like cleaning house with all of these units, and then Zefa moved at you and you wondered like, what's the snowman gonna do? And he just one-shots your strongest unit. And that even happens with some level 30 units or level 31 or 2 units. I've seen this before. I was actually surprised when I recorded the festival guide and I moved in with Tim and Zefa then attacked Tim that my Tim didn't die. That was like the first time that happened, because the ice assembly can be this strong. Yes, it is a one-trick pony. It only happens once during a fight. And yes, it does require some setup. It's not like some of these other effects like a Dorga that just needs to move to a unit and it has an amazing effect. You do need some setup for the effect to really work. But if you're setting it up, ice assembly is bound to hit hard, like very hard. Zefa also has a passive ability, and that is the Iron Assembly. That is basically the wet dream of every Agnar player in this game, because we've all seen this before. You're playing PvP versus Agnar. Agnar is like holding his ground. You're attacking with everything. Agnar is still standing there, and then suddenly the tides are turning because you basically got a free turn. Agnar is moving between all of your units and he's using his flame shield. And you are like, yeah, I'm not impressed, because the AI just gave up an entire turn to build some shield for Agnar, which is nice, but he's not striking down one of your units, and that is the key here. He's not doing anything. He needs to give up a turn to use the flame shield. That is very different for Zefa, and the fact that this is not his active ability that he can only use once per fight, but his passive ability that he can use in theory infinite times, makes this so much better than Agnar's active. So he just moves next to unit and he steals armor. And this is only level 9, he's already stealing 99 armor. This is bound to get worse for your opponent and better for you. The Iron Assembly is a really strong passive. I would say one of the best in the game, to be honest, because it just increases the likelihood that Zefa is gonna stay around and become, like I said, the pillar of your defense in every game mode. So let's look at what that looks like in action. Both the active together with the passive, and again I asked Thunder, who played with his B team in Arena, and showed us what really can happen when you're putting all of these pieces together. So here we are, we're in an arena fight, and we can see that the opponent does have a Katsume. Katsuma, one of the scarier units if you're somewhat new to the game. It's one of the units that makes me always want to play with sound on, because the arena fight starts and then you hear the sound of Katsuma getting the bow and arrow ready, and you're like, oh wait a second, I have to pay attention to who's moving in first. In this case, if you have Zefa, you know who moves first, and it is Zefa, obviously. So he goes in, loses some life, but it really doesn't matter because he's immediately stealing all the armor from Katsuma, all of it. And almost all of the armor of Boulder, which is another unit that is like kind of known for hanging around forever. So suddenly Zefa, pretty good position. Then we see the combo setup, and this is basically one of the best setups that you can have. Zefa on the one hand, together with Aradel. Now I know, again, some of you are like, well, Aradel is not a very good unit because you need to have her hang around for a couple of turns for her active to really matter. We can take a quick look at Aradel in case you guys are not familiar with the unit. I gotta admit, I didn't even unlock Aradel so far, but her active Blizzard allows you to do some damage to basically almost everyone on the field, similar to Tim, 3 distance, and it is damage for every turn that has passed. So if you're playing an Onslaught and you're able to have Aradel stick around for like 5 or 6 turns or something like that, and more opponents are closing in, and you're like, oh my god, I'm not sure if I can turn this around, and suddenly Aradel just uses her special, the board is wiped clean, because that's basically what she does. But in this case, it's not so much about the fact that she can do a lot of damage. When you're combining Zefa with Aradel, it's more about the other effect, that is that Aradel is a reliable provider of ice. She would be the best friend at a party because she's always gonna make sure that your cocktails are cooled down. What? So let's look at how this goes when Aradel has provided the ice that Zefa needs, and now the snowman is going to town, and it is a one-shot kill of Katsuma. And I'm willing to bet money that he could have done the same with Boulder here. Alright, let's look how the rest of this fight is going. We do see there's a very strong Sir Matt. There's a Yasmin, where I'm somewhat unsure of what she's doing in a PvP fight, to be honest. But who knows? Here's the active of Tim, and again, this is another key moment. We do see Sunshine, who just refreshed his armor. We do see a Bullmon with a lot of armor, and there's still some armor remaining for Boulder. And look at Zefa, he just moves in the middle, and all of a sudden everybody's fresh out of armor, and Zefa just got stronger again. Even if the opponent was like fighting on equal terms and he could take down 1 or 2 units, Zefa would be in this fight forever. Just need to get Boulder off of that healing pad, and then I don't think there's any chance that anybody can kill Zefa at this point with his ridiculous health. So here's Yasmin coming in, allowing a second activation of the Holy Brothers, and now suddenly Bullmon was in really bad spot, and now it's everybody against Boulder, so it's basically like hit the Pinata, just that the Pinata in this case is in rock form, which is a bit weird. Alright, and that's all she wrote. This is a level 30 Zefa, and we can already see how he can go like one-on-one against some of the great ones. Yeah, I had to make another rock reference, I'm sorry guys. In the arena, like this unit is actually for real if you have the combo potential to set it all up. And so finally, to show you something special that we usually don't have on this program, on this channel, we're showing you some guild raid here. This is an age-old video, and I know it looks like it was recorded on a potato. It's not from like 10 years ago, it's actually just from like half a year ago, something like that. And here we see Zefa in guild raid. I know it's kind of hard to make out what's happening, but I can basically run you through it. So we do have the Ice Dragon, getting rid of all the snakes of Seat, and now we do see after a couple of turns have passed, this is like the 3rd or 4th turn or something like that. Now we're gonna see the special of Aradel, and I just talked about it. Aradel gets stronger by every turn that you wait for her special to trigger. This is the big moment. Here's the special of Aradel, and now look at the ice assembly. Zefa normally does 149 damage. That is not a lot against the dragon, against any dragon. It's not terrible either. I mean, this is a pretty strong dragon. But look at the ice assembly. Rather than 150, Zefa is now doing 880 damage. That is a lot, especially considering the fact that the dragon has even blocked this attack. This would have been like more than 1,000 damage in a single attack thanks to the ice assembly. So if you are able to set this up, if you do have the combo potential to make this work, Zefa is a really interesting unit out there. I myself have a background in trading card games, and in trading card games there is this theory that there are different types of players. There are the spike players. The spike players are the ones that always want to play the strongest units. So basically those would be the units like a Dorga, like a Tanamo, like a Tim, stuff like that, basically. And then there are the Timmy players. The Timmy players are the ones that are just like there to have a good time. They don't really care what they're playing. They're playing all the funny cards that they know from their favorite TV show and stuff like that. And then there's a third kind of player, and that is my favorite kind of player, and that is the Johnny player. The Johnny player is losing a lot of his matches because what he's trying to do is pull off a ridiculous combo. But if the combo goes off in like 1 out of 20 matches and he defeats his opponent, he's gonna celebrate that victory for the rest of the day like he just won the world championship. And Zefa is the unit for you, the absolute unit for you if you are a Johnny player in Rivengard. If you like combos, if you don't necessarily want to play the strongest units in the game, but you really like it when a plan comes together.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Zefa might just be your very best friend. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this little character spotlight. Hope you're gonna take a second look at Zefa. Is there another unit that you would like to see? Let me know. There's gonna be more spotlights coming on this channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching these videos. Be sure to subscribe and like the video, and then we see you very, very soon again. Bye bye.